I just got back from watching Don John, which is Joseph Gordon Levitt's directorial debut. He also wrote it and stars in the film, and the film co-stars Scarlett Johansson and Julianne Moore. And I had been excited for this film for a while. It was one of my most anticipated of the year. It had some good reviews coming out of Sundance, where it premiered, and then in Toronto at the film festival, I didn't hear that many great things about it. So my anticipation kind of dwindled because of that. And I'm not sure if it's because I wasn't as excited for it anymore, or the fact that it just wasn't really a very good movie, that I didn't really get it or enjoy it very much. The film is about John, who is played by Joseph Gordon Levitt, and he's addicted to porn. And it's basically about how his expectations in a relationship and with sex don't ever really live up to the pornography that he watches. And he is watching it constantly all the time. He's truly addicted. And he meets Barbara, who's Scarlett Johansson, and she is very romantic, and she watches a lot of romantic comedies or romance movies, however you want to say it, and she also has certain expectations within a relationship that may be skewed by the movie she watches. Now, I thought that aspect, the whole difference between the genders and the fact that the guy's addicted to porn and the girl watches these romance movies, the expectations that they can lead to and the way it skews how they think about their actual relationships, I thought that was kind of the main point of the movie, and I guess in a way it is the main point of the movie, but I don't think the movie conveyed that very well. I just thought it was kind of shallow and didn't really dig deeper into anything. It was each character was so one-dimensional, and that might be kind of the point, but at the same time, it didn't work well as just a narrative in watching these people. They just all were such caricatures. The only, slightly developed character I would say would be Julianne Moore's character. And she plays this, student that John goes to school with. She was a bit more interesting. There was something a bit more complex about her, but at the same time, still, none of the characters are very developed at all. So, that obviously for me was a drawback. I like really character-driven films, and these characters were just so nothing. I don't know. I can't even. I guess I can't really describe it well. I just think there was almost no substance to any of the characters in the film. They were just so stereotypical and so no complexity to them, really. And the themes of the movie and the addiction and the expectations in relationships, and I guess I can't really think of that many other themes that there were to this movie. It just it was a bit of an empty movie, maybe almost as empty as the fact that he's addicted to porn and what that means and the emptiness that could create for him. I don't know. I'm trying to see things a little bit deeper than they are, but it wasn't even, I think it's supposed to be a comedy. I didn't really even find it funny in any way. I saw another film that also deals with sex addiction, which isn't actually out yet, but it's weird because I saw it over a year ago. Thanks for Sharing, with Gwyneth Paltrow and Mark Ruffalo, and that film, for also dealing with, I guess, sex addiction and porn addiction aren't exactly the same thing, but that film, as a comedy, does it a lot better than Don John does, which just completely isn't funny very much at all. It's a little bit if you're laughing, you're just laughing at how pathetic the whole thing is a little. I mean, I won't say I didn't laugh at all the whole movie, but it was just kind of nothing substantially funny. Brie Larson's in this too, and she has a small role, and I had heard like, that her character was really funny before seeing this movie, but I didn't even think that her little gimmicky role was very funny or original at all. And I guess that's the thing. This movie just wasn't that original, and I guess I kind of thought it might be, considering what I thought it was more about and the way that I thought it might handle the topic of the movie, but it doesn't really. And I don't have a problem with the plot or anything, of the fact that it's about like porn addiction or whatever. I think that's interesting, but I just don't think the movie deals with it in an interesting way. I think it's just what everyone kind of already knew about someone you would imagine who was addicted to porn. You'd kind of imagine them to be someone like Jon is in this movie, just someone very shallow, doesn't really care much about people, and who's selfish, and there wasn't anything much deeper to his character that could really make me sympathize or try to understand him. So, I don't know, I guess I guess that's all really there is to say about this movie. It's just a bit as shallow as the character is, and there's just nothing that deep or profound or even funny about it. It's an okay movie that, I mean, it was an hour and a half long. It actually felt a bit longer. I was kind of like, hey, like, it dragged a bit for me, and I don't know, I wouldn't even say it was completely entertaining. I was just a little bit annoyed at the whole thing a bit throughout it. I mean, it's just a bit like, ugh. I feel like it picks up in the last 20-ish minutes of the film. It gets better. The Julianne Moore character becomes more prevalent, and I thought she was the most interesting part of the movie, even though she's even not completely that interesting herself. She's also still a bit of like this caricature kind of character, but it just doesn't say anything that interesting that no one has never heard before. So for that reason, I'm giving Don Jon a D+. It's not a movie I would ever really watch again. It's like, you've seen it and that's it. You don't need to watch this movie again. It's not funny or entertaining enough, and I'm kind of disappointed because I really, really like Joseph Gordon Levitt as an actor and just as a person in the industry. I think he's very creative. So it kind of saddens me that I think his first film as a filmmaker is just this kind of mediocre, unimportant kind of thing that I think had potential in what he was trying to do, just I think it kind of falls flat. Alright, so let me know what you thought of the film, if you've seen it. I would love to talk about it, so you can comment below. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. And I'm Adriana, it's my blog, Fresh from the Theater. Thank you so much for watching.